Alright, let's talk about something you don't hear every day. A person working at the same bank for nearly half a century. Debbie Schuh just retired after 49 years at National Exchange Bank and Trust in Wisconsin. That's not just a career, it's a time capsule. I mean, she started in 1976. Think about that. Jimmy Carter was president. The first Star Wars movie hadn't even come out yet. And here's this woman, quietly shaping the financial lives of her community through loans, interest rates, and probably a few economic crashes. But here's what I find fascinating. Her entire career was spent in loan services, a role that's both hyper-specific and deeply human. Let's unpack why this matters more than you'd think. First off, let's address the elephant in the room. 49 years at one company. In 2026. That's almost rebellious. Most people today change jobs every 3 to 5 years, right? We're told to job hop for better pay, to chase growth opportunities. So someone sticking with a single institution for 5 decades feels like a relic of a different era. But was it loyalty? Or was it something deeper? Maybe the real story here is about how banking itself has changed. Back in the 70s, loans were paper-heavy, personal, and slow. Today, algorithms approve mortgages in minutes. Debbie's career spanned that entire evolution. She didn't just process loans, she witnessed the digitization of trust, the automation of risk assessment, and the rise of fintech startups trying to replace human advisors entirely. That's wild to me. Now, the article mentions she worked behind the scenes supporting lending operations. Let's unpack that. Loan officers are the unsung heroes of capitalism. They're the ones deciding who gets money to start a business, buy a home, or fix their car. It's a role that requires both technical skill and emotional intelligence. But here's the thing. When you stay in that role for 50 years, you're not just a cog in a machine. You become an institution. You memorize the town's financial DNA. You know which families are reliable, which industries are shaky, which risks are worth taking. That kind of institutional knowledge is priceless and totally unquantifiable. How do you replace someone who's seen 50 recessions, 30 housing booms, and 1,000 individual dreams? You can't. What I find even more interesting is the customer side of her job. The article says she assisted customers through the loan process. That phrasing is so clinical. Let me reframe it. She held people's hands during some of the most stressful moments of their lives. Imagine helping a farmer secure a loan after a drought, or a young couple buy their first fixer-upper. Loans aren't just numbers, they're stories. And Debbie was a silent narrator in thousands of those stories. But here's a twist. In today's AI-driven banking world, that personal touch is vanishing. Chatbots now handle customer support, and machine learning models decide creditworthiness. Is that progress? Maybe. But I'd argue we're losing something irreplaceable, the nuance of human judgment, the empathy of someone who knows your family history. This raises a bigger question. What's the legacy of someone like Debbie? Financial institutions often tout community values, but how many actually embody that? She didn't just work for a bank, she became a bridge between generations, a living link between the analog past and the digital future. Her retirement isn't just a headline, it's a quiet symbol of transition. Will the next 50 years produce someone like her? Probably not. Automation demands efficiency, not loyalty. But maybe that's why her story resonates. It's a reminder that behind every economic system, there are humans doing the messy, invisible work of keeping things running. And that's something no algorithm can truly replicate. So here's my takeaway. Celebrate Debbie Schuh's career, but don't romanticize it. Her 49 years weren't about nostalgia, they were about adapting, surviving, and thriving in a role that demanded both consistency and reinvention. The real lesson here isn't about banking, it's about how we define purpose. For some, it's chasing new horizons. For others, like Debbie, it's building a life's work in one place and watching the world change around you. Either way, both paths matter. What do you think? Is staying put in one job a dying art, or is it just underrated? Let me know in the comments. Let's start a conversation about what loyalty means in the modern world.